Please help me in welcome Wilke up to the stage. Thank you, Wilke.
Good morning, and thank you to After40 for having me here to discuss about our company and our new product that we're going to sell on the US market. So I think I'm going to be a perfect bridge between the biologicals that were discussed this morning and the on-seed products that will be discussed by the speakers after me. So Ceradis is relatively new to the US market. So I want to spend a few more minutes to introduce the company to you. I want to discuss with you guys how does Ceradis commercialize biological products. And I want to use our new product as a case study of how we worked on it. And in the end, there will be some time for questions as well. So Ceradis. Ceradis' goal is to lower chemical loading with 50% using Ceradis products. How do we do that? So we focus on biologicals, and our intention is that do biologicals without compromises. And we have a second technology platform where we work on dose rate reduction, where we keep the same efficacy of the chemical product, but with a lower dose rate. So you be more environmentally friendly while keeping the same efficacy for the farmer. So Ceradis is a spin-off company from Wageningen University. We were founded in 2003, and we have commercial sales in mostly Europe and South America since 2013. We mainly focus on fungicides, but we have a lot of interesting new products in the pipeline, also on insecticides and herbicides, and we also have some fertilizers. At this moment, our main market is Europe, with France and Italy, and we have products in South America. We have a daughter company spin-off in Colombia as well, and we're mostly an R&D company. So we don't do our sales directly to farmers, but we sell our products to other companies, and they do the sales to the farmer for us. And one example is that Syngenta has been selling our product in France and Italy now already for 3 years in a row. So it means that we can focus on the R&D, what we're good in, and the big companies can focus on the sales, and they are better in than us. So now that we've established the market in Europe and in South America, for us the real next big thing is the US. I think that's a good introduction into Ceradis. So pathway to commercialization, biological fungicides. The speakers before me already discussed it. It's not that easy, right? So the farmers are used to mainstream products. These mainstream products have really good efficacy every year round. You know what to expect. You know the mode of action of the product, as you know against which diseases, on which crops. Everybody knows what to talk about if you name the chemical molecule. Compatibility is not an issue. You can mix it with any other product. It will keep its main efficacy, so there's no problem for the seed treatment and for the farmer. Shelf life, you don't need a refrigerator for your chemical products. No problem there. Guaranteed 2-year shelf life. But the but comes, it's not biological. And you see that the consumers are asking for more biological products. The farmer is more interested in biological products. But it seems that for the farmer, they have to compromise. So if they want a biological product, they have to compromise on either efficacy or easy handling. And I think that's not fair. So why does it have to be or? Why can it not be and? So in this case, I use the biological term a bit more broader. So the speakers before me mostly use it for microorganisms. In this case, they also use it for plant extracts or secondary metabolites from microorganisms. So you see biologicals on the market, and they're the first biologicals, right? So efficacy, so it's a biological, but efficacy is moi. I was a bit afraid I was going to make somebody angry with this term, but I'm glad Douglas and Antonio also used the same term, right? So we know it works. It's not snake oil, but it might be working 1 year, and then a different year with more rain or higher temperatures, it becomes much more difficult. And how do you explain it to the farmer? So if it doesn't work first year, why would he start buying your product next year if it doesn't work the first time? The mode of action is difficult. So why does it work? And if it works on this crop, will it also work on the other crop? If you don't know exactly how it works, the compatibility is difficult. So if your microorganism is being killed off by the mainstream product, the farmer again has to choose between your product or a chemical product that he already knows. And then the shelf life. The farmer doesn't have a refrigerator on his tractor next to his seed treatment facilities. So what Ceradis does is we try not to compromise. We try to take the best of both worlds. So we try to biological, like the first biologicals, but we try to guarantee the high efficacy, the mode of action, the compatibility, like the mainstream products. And I think this is also what Douglas said, this is what will, and Antonio, this is what will happen in the next 10 years. It will not be a compromise for farmer, but it will work as good as chemical products. So that was a bit how Ceradis determines how we work with which product. Of course, this sounds really great, but how does it work in practice? So I want to use our seed treatment product, Ceradis, as a comparison of how we had all these checkpoints. So Ceradis has as an active ingredient in there natamycin. Natamycin is not a molecule Ceradis found or developed. Natamycin is already known for decades. So natamycin is being produced by bacteria as a secondary metabolite. So I can check off the biological part. It's a defense mechanism for bacteria, soil bacteria against fungi, and that's been used in the food industry for decades. So if you normally have your breakfast with yogurt or cheese on your sandwich, there's a high chance of natamycin on there to prevent mold growing on your cheese. That means that also efficacy is already known. Ceradis has tested also the product in different applications, so post-harvest, foliar, seed treatment, and we consistently find the same efficacy with the natamycin molecule compared to the chemical product. The mode of action is also known. So natamycin brings a new mode of action to the crop industry. It binds to ergosterol, a sterol that's only present in the cell membrane from true fungi. And by binding to the ergosterol, the cell membrane cannot transport anymore in or out, and the cell slowly dies. So it's not toxic, but it does at some point kill off the cell. Compatibility, so it's a molecule, it's not a living organism, which makes everything a lot easier. But also you can mix it really good with microbials. So bacillus is a bacteria. Bacteria doesn't have ergosterol, meaning there is no problem with mixing our product with some of the microorganisms and will not negatively affect those products either. And then the last one, shelf life. It's a molecule, we make a stable formulation around the molecule, and we can guarantee a shelf life of 2 years as well. At this moment, you might think, why have I not thought about bringing natamycin to crop protection? There were some hiccups also, of course. One of them was cost. So it's already been used in the food industry for years, but there's much more money to gain to prevent mold from your cheese than the farmer has to protect his crops. So cost was one of the issues, and natamycin is still a sensitive molecule. So it's being broken down by the UV light and being broken down by the pH. So these are the things that Ceradis has worked a lot on. So we made a formulation to protect the natamycin against the UV and the pH, and we made a more cost-effective production process of the molecule, and both of those inventions we patented, so we are the only one allowed to use and bring this product to the market. Alright, so Ceradis as a seed treatment, like I said, we're developing Ceradis for foliar, post-harvest, soil application. It's a very broad molecule, but today I will talk about the seed treatment. We have positively tested the product on several crops, on soybean, wheat, different vegetables, cotton. It works against a broad range of fungi, but we see a very high efficacy against Fusarium. 3 years into development, we've heard about sudden death syndrome in soybeans, which is caused by Fusarium. And the Fusarium was really difficult to control. So there was at that moment only one chemical, Ilevo, being able to control SDS, but it's actually also harming the seed. There was 5 toxic issues. So we thought, well, that sounds like a challenge. We always see good efficacy against Fusarium. Let's also test against SDS. And I'll have results later on, but again, Ceradis showed really good efficacy comparable to the chemical Ilevo. And I'm also proud to tell you guys that we got the registration of the product September this year. So we are allowed to do our first commercial series of 2020. All right. So we have done 3 years of field trials together with AG40. We have done over 50 different field locations in 10 different states in 3 years in a row. Again, every year we see the same efficacy compared to Ilevo. And we also have a similar yield increase compared to Ilevo of 4.3 bushel per acre. I can spend a whole hour showing you all the results that we have, but we only have 50 minutes today. So I want to show you this one graph where we show the 40 different plots of a large strip trial and the SDS control in those large strips. These are not innovative trials, these are the disease pressure as the farmer has in his own fields. And you can see that besides 2 plots we always have very good efficacy of SDS with a 95% win chance, comparable to Ilevo, who only has 77.5% win chance. Our average SDS control is 46.8%, while Ilevo only has 39.5%. So again, in this case, this year, I would even say Ceradis works better than Ilevo. Alright, so Ilevo, I think most of you know, has also downsides. I already said that it's biotox. You see this black round on the first leaf of Ilevo. And Ilevo is known to work against SDS and SCN, but that's it. So you decide upfront if you might have problems with it, but if the SDS doesn't show up, you have bought it for nothing, as an insurance product. Ceradis is different. So like I already said, Ceradis doesn't affect the plant at all. We did seed safety studies on our product, and we don't see any effects on the seed germination. If you compare the plant figure of Ceradis to Ilevo, so the plant looks more healthy when you use our product, but with Ilevo products, your plant actually looks a bit less nice. And then in our SDS Plus, we also have one location where there was Lysotonia problem. And I like that as an example to show that our product has a much broader spectrum. So our first go-to-market is against Ceradis syndrome on soybeans, but actually the spectrum is much broader, something that Ilevo does not have. Alright, thank you very much for your attention. If there's one message you should take of this presentation is please Ceradis as a new generation biofungicide for seed treatment.